Trump administration's systematic removal of climate change references from federal government websites is proving ineffective in shielding Americans from the escalating impacts of the climate crisis, according to experts. This digital scrubbing extends across numerous agencies, demonstrating a concerted effort to downplay the urgency and significance of climate change. A significant climate portal maintained by the Department of Defense has been completely eliminated. Similarly, the Department of State's primary climate change section has vanished from its website. The White House website no longer features a dedicated climate change page, and the U.S. Department of Agriculture has removed climate-related content, including crucial vulnerability assessments for wildfires. The Department of Transportation's entire climate and sustainability section has been erased, along with any related policy positions, directives, or funding that mention climate change, greenhouse gas emissions, racial equity, gender identity, diversity, equity and inclusion goals, environmental justice, or the Justice 40 initiative. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy justified these actions by claiming the administration aims to eliminate what it considers excessive regulations that hinder economic growth, increase costs for American families, and prioritize far-left agendas over practical solutions. This narrative conveniently ignores the long-term economic and societal costs associated with inaction on climate change. The impact of this censorship extends beyond the removal of pub. Researchers have reported the disappearance of their own studies on topics ranging from ocean carbon cycles to the connectivity of cleaner electrical grids, all previously hosted on federal government websites. This deliberate obscuring of scientific research hinders public understanding of the climate crisis at a time of unprecedented heat waves, storms, and wildfires, all exacerbated by the burning of fossil fuels. Critics draw parallels between the Trump administration's actions and Florida's recent law prohibiting any mention of climate change in state legislation. Michael Mann, a prominent climate scientist, commented that this removal of climate data shouldn't be surprising, suggesting that the administration and its aligned polluters are actively trying to suppress any mention of climate change within government agencies. He even called Florida's actions a test bed for the. While some climate-related content remains on certain government websites, its accessibility has been significantly reduced. For instance, climate change sections on the websites of the Department of Energy and other agencies have been made less prominent, relegated to less visible locations. NASA's crucial climate change website, dedicated to tracking and explaining rising global temperatures and planet heating emissions, remains operational, although it's undergoing a redesign and has had climate removed from its URL, signaling a shift in emphasis. The Trump administration's efforts to minimize the U.S. government's response to climate change extend beyond website alterations. Its withdrawal from the Paris Agreement is a prime example. Less publicized actions include the relaxation of standards for federally funded infrastructure, such as highways, hospitals, and schools, reducing their resilience against increasingly severe floods and storms. The Environmental Data and Governance Initiative, EDGI, has also highlighted the removal of a White House sustainability plan aimed at curbing pollution from federal activities. The contrast with the Biden administration is stark. During Trump's previous term, there was a nearly 40% decline in the use of the term climate change across federal environmental agency websites. This trend was reversed under Biden, with the restoration and expansion of climate-related content. Despite this digital erasure of climate information, the ongoing climate crisis remains unabated. Last month witnessed the hottest January on record globally, exceeding previous records by a substantial margin. This followed a record-breaking year for global heat in 2024. Wildfires devastating Los Angeles have been directly linked to human-caused global warming by researchers. In Greenland, an area Trump expressed interest in acquiring for the U.S., the ice sheet is melting at an unprecedented rate, contributing to a further acceleration of global sea level rise. The Trump administration's attempts to erase the reality of climate change online have demonstrably failed to diminish its impact on the lives of Americans. The ongoing extreme weather events, scientific evidence, and persistent warming trends starkly contradict the administration's attempts at information control. The consequences of such actions are far-reaching and underscore the importance of accessible, accurate, and readily available climate information for informed policymaking and public preparedness. The long-term repercussions of this digital suppression of critical data will likely extend well beyond the current administration. The detrimental impact on public understanding and informed decision-making regarding climate change poses a significant threat to the well-being and few. This deliberate attempt to obfuscate the reality of climate change serves only to undermine public trust in science and government institutions, creating an environment where informed responses to the urgent crisis are further delayed, with potentially catastrophic consequences for future generations.